Okay, why don't we give it another minute or so for folks to join in? Okay, why don't we get started? I'd like to welcome everybody to the Parks and Waterfront Committee meeting. Unfortunately, Judy Schneider was not able to make it tonight, so I will be the chair for the evening. Before we get started, I'd like to turn it over to Kevin to do a run of show.
Okay, welcome everyone. If this is your first time joining us virtually, you will notice that you are currently muted, and everyone will remain muted throughout the meeting except for Felice and any presenters as we move through the agenda. As we move through the agendas, the co-chairs will call on members of the public wishing to speak. You can participate by going to the reactions icon on your device and pressing the raise hand button, not the wave or thumbs up, as those will disappear. Only press it once. If you press it a second time, your hand will go back down. If you are calling in on the phone, it is *9 to raise hand and *6 to unmute. Be on the lookout for a prompt asking you to confirm unmuting once the co-chairs call on you. The chat is available for technical support only to help with Zoom software problems, not to ask questions of the co-chairs. They will not see the chats. If you're using an older version of Zoom, you need to go to the participant section where you will find the raise hand feature there. Please do not raise your actual hand or wave at the screen because we may not be able to see you. Chat me, I'm here for support. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. So I am excited tonight that we have a special guest, our new Manhattan Borough Commissioner. Really excited to have Tricia Shimamura, the prior co-chair of the CB8 Parks and Waterfront Committee, to be joining us tonight. So welcome, Tricia, and let me turn it over to you to say a few comments.
Hey guys. Hi. I just really came on just briefly to say hello. You should thank your district manager for giving me a heads up that and reminding me gently that you guys were meeting tonight. And I know that Sheena from our team is here. There may be other members from our team who are on. Rob, I see Mike McLean who's on too. You guys already have my A team on here, but just very briefly, you all know this already, but this I have a lot of my situation and my current employment to thank you all for specifically. It was over a decade ago that your former chairs, Barbara Rutter and Peggy Price, insisted and marched into my then office with Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney and told me that if I expected to be serving this community, then I better get to know the Esplanade. And basically from their advocacy and their passion, it kind of led me down this whole path. And Charlie, it's so good to see you. It's been way too long, and to see so many of you. I see Judy and Sahar and Mubin, of course, and obviously Irma's just like a family member at this point, and so many people. So the long story short is that you all know this, but I am very proud of to be from this community board. I'm very proud to be part of this community. I look at you as teachers and as mentors, and now particularly in this new role as partners, to do many, many good things. It's only been 14 days, so I'm still frankly learning where things are and who people are and what people do and all those other things. So, I don't have too much to really report on here, but otherwise just to tell you that I'm really looking forward to this new role. I credit you all for helping me get to this place, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the good things we can do together. So thank you. Thanks for continuing to do this good work. you know, before, oh, they're gone now. But when I started this whole thing, I was like a single person trying to survive off of being a congressional aide in Carolyn Maloney's office, and now I've like tripled my family size, and so many things have changed, but some things stay the same, and that includes the relationships that I see that with my relationships with you all here. Craig also, it's like Craig had like a baby when we started this, and now he's got like some like a grown man in his house. It's or not even in his house anymore. He's gonna be leaving soon. You know, there's like all these kind of crazy changes here, but you all know where I live. You have my cell phone number. Please don't give it out to other people because now I have a work phone number, but you all have my personal number. So, you know, we'll work together soon. And I can't wait to see you all in person. So thanks.
Well, thanks, Trisha, and thanks for popping on tonight. We're really excited to welcome you to your new role and look forward to working with you. I can't think of anyone more passionate about parks and certainly more understanding of the issues in this community. So we really look forward to working with you. It's a great move for the Parks Department, for this community, and hopefully for you as well. So thanks, and I hope you have a great evening.
Thanks, guys. I'll listen in for a little bit, but I'm going to mute myself just because you'll hear me yelling at Teddy in about 3 minutes. Bye.
Bye. So great. So we're gonna just take the agenda slightly out of order tonight, and we're gonna hear from Sheena first, and then go to Robert McLean to get an update on the Esplanade. So Sheena, tell us what's new. I think Sheena's. Oh yeah, there we are. I think I can't hear you, Sheena. I think you're in your mute or your can't hear thing. Nope. Should we take it over to Robert McLean first and then get back to Sheena?
Yeah, okay. I got some information for you. Let's see, the bid solicitations for the East River Esplanade Phase 1 and Phase 2 projects have been extended because of the large number of inquiries received from potential bidders. So it's currently due on March 27th, and it's going to be extended probably past April. And Phase 2 is the fenced off a section of CB8M from East 114th Street to 117th Street. Bids are now due April 26th. Phase 3 includes 3 sites: the CB8 area at East 92nd Street, East 63rd Street, and East 76th Street, and East 80th Street, and East 90th to 94th. So the bids are due April 29th. And then Steve says that we're hoping that the construction will begin in the fall. He said probably November. And then Steve was asking me if the installation for the lighting by the sculpture has begun. It has. I talked to the electricians yesterday. They've removed all the spotlights from the structure, both sides, and they are starting the installation of the lights today. And they've fenced off half of the area. And when they're finished with that section, they'll take the fence down and move it south. And so they'll barricade the second section. So half of the area will be open for the public. Okay, and so that's good news anyway. So they hope to have it done within 2 weeks, maybe on the outside 3 weeks.
And is there notice up in the area letting folks know the time period?
I've talked to some friends group that I've told them. I haven't posted any signs. They got
is
a
it-
late, go ahead.
I just wondering if there was information we could just put up on the community board site, letting people know of the time frame.
Yeah, they should, within 3 weeks, they estimate, within 3 weeks, possibly 2 weeks on the outside 3. Yeah, like I
Okay.
said, I talked to him yesterday and I talked to the SCANSA head guy also. The contractors that are building the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you could just keep us in the loop so we can make sure the community has information about the time frame for the work, that would be great. I know
Yeah.
it's a relatively short window, but it's still helpful to keep people informed.
No, I'll keep you informed. If I go there next week, I'll let you know exactly what. Listen, I've been married 35 years. I take orders very well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any questions? Okay, let's turn it over to Sheena. Now that she is sideways, but
I know I don't even, this thing is gone crazy. Y'all can hear me now?
yes.
Great. Sorry for being sideways. The phone won't turn around. Good evening, everyone. So we have some great news about Rubric Park. We have submitted our stormwater pollution prevention plan to DEP. And if all goes well, if once it gets approved, we can proceed for the project to go out to bid. So that's great news. It's moving. Rubric is moving. For John Jay, the process has begun with the multi-purpose area. It's moving along and it's going great. Everything is on schedule so far. The pool deck is scheduled to be completed by Memorial Day. Fingers crossed. So that's good. I'm going to open up the side of the fence that's been closed along the plaza area. I'm going to open it up to give access to the handball court between tomorrow and Monday. I just have to fence a portion of it off to avoid park patrons taking dogs in that area and making a mess of it. So I'm going to fence it off, and the steps leading to that area will be open for people to get quicker access, just so we can have 2 access areas to the handball court area. St. Catherine's, our permanent worker that was scheduled there has to take some time off. So I replaced her with another individual, another worker. So we don't lose the good momentum we have at St. Catherine's. So the person will stay there until she gets back from her leave. Our parks team is actually going to present at the May's meeting for the St. Catherine's renovation. So we look forward for that for May. And that's all I got.
Thanks, Sheena. So just to clarify the May issue, we were not originally going to have, as Judy had announced last month's meeting, we were not going to meet in May unless there was a need for us to meet because of a need for a board resolution. So now there is a need for us to meet in May. So we will be holding a May meeting. That's on the second Thursday of the month. So I believe that's May 9th. And we'll be getting a presentation on the plans for St. Catherine's Park in May. So I hope everyone can join us then. And Sheena, thank you for telling us about that the SWIP has finally been submitted to DEP. Do you have any information on what the timeline is for review? And then once that's approved, how long it will take to put the project out to bid?
So no, we don't. We're there. It has been submitted, and they haven't given us any updated information on that. Once they do, if they give it to us, between tomorrow and in May, if it comes through, then I'll shoot your email, either me or Steve. Because it'll go through Steve first. And of course, I'm asking every week about rubric. But if he gets it, and not able to get it out to you, I'll send you a message regarding it. But so far they haven't given us any. It's just been submitted to them. So I don't know their time frame that they have in approving it. That's something that they don't provide. So Steve is definitely up on it, because he knows how passionate we all are about getting rubric done. So if we get some information prior to May's meeting, I'll shoot it over to you via email.
Okay, I didn't know if there was some set time period that DEP had to respond.
To my understanding of that, no.
Okay, thanks, Sheena. So we have questions. First Rita, and then after Rita, Boaz.
So police members of the public should go first.
Okay,
So I think
sorry about that. Rita, we'll have to hold off a second as we go to Boaz first.
Yes, I'm first. So yeah, great update. I really like the fact that we are moving forward with Rupert Park. What I would like from community board to do is two things. Again, there is a lot of visibility from the community on Rupert Park. I just want to, first of all, emphasize again, families in this area are not using the playground in Rupert Park for several years. We are basically migrating to other playground in the area, and it's now during the spring and the summer, it's causing the other playground on next to the East River or York 91 and so on. Asphalt green is basically causing them to overflow with the people, with the toddlers, kids. So we really need the Rupert Park playground up and running as soon as possible. So two things I would like from community board to figure it out. One, if you can update somewhere in the minutes, I know that you guys have your own off conversation with the people from the city, a little bit more transparency. Okay, it seems like we moved from phase A to phase B. How many more phases do we have? How many are we talking about 10 years now, 5 years now? Give us some information about, and I know that we don't know it, but give us some statistics. Usually this takes a year, this takes 8 months, some kind of estimation, how much each one of the phases takes. That's one. The second thing, just to give visibility to the community, is small logistics thing that I've asked is that if we can add to the meeting agenda. I know that Sheena is providing us every meeting update to Rupert Park, but it will give a nice visibility to the community, is that let's separate it in the item. Let's say update on Rupert Park, it will be part of the agenda, so everyone will know that, because people were asking me today in the street, are they going to talk about Rupert Park today? And I told them, listen, every park meeting I'm going to join, and I'm going to chase for a Rupert Park. But I think that until we get the park up and running, let's have it in the agenda. Other than that, yeah, any visibility you guys can provide, that would be great. Thank you.
Thanks, Boaz.
Okay.
And just to mention, we have asked that an update on Rupert be provided at every meeting. So that is something that we are including. Thanks. Rita?
I have a question for Sheena. What happened to the concrete planters at the entrance of Rupert Park on on Second Avenue. They disappeared. And then we know nobody carted them home because they're concrete and they were at least more than waist high.
Are you talking about in the driveway area or the entrance area
The
to
entrance
Rupert?
area, there were two planters on either side and they're gone.
Um, I don't know. I haven't seen them. I think it's if I'm remembering, it's a big belly that's there.
They were
I can ask about that, but
just
of them.
curiosity. What happened was they were planted and they had some flowers. I know that Boaz is very anxious because he has a child. I had my grandchildren who I had to do exactly what he is doing as to where I would take them to a park. But and if I believe Steve Simon, and I generally do, he said it would be a year and a half after they put a shovel on the ground for Rupert Park. But that was before we had a comfort station that may add some time. But we'll see.
The only thing I can think of that might have happened, it might have been damaged somehow, and of the removal of it. And if once they get cracked or damaged, you'll definitely have to remove it. So I don't know. It might have been before me because I don't have any pictures of it.
Right.
And I have pictures of Rupert, and I don't have pictures of any planters boxes
Thank you.
on entrance.
Thank you, Sheena. Park is fairly ugly. And when we have something that has flowers in it, we get very excited. And when they're missing, we really miss them. So thank you. Appreciate it.
We're moving in a very positive way with Rupert. I think I probably ask about it every day. So I'm just excited as you all are. So I will try my best to provide more and more information for Rupert as soon as I get it.
That would be great.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sheena. And we're thrilled to have Tricia as the new Manhattan Borough President because she knows how important this project is to the community, and I'm sure that she will be doing everything in her power to figure out what's holding it up and take care of those roadblocks. Great, thank you. Sahar.
Yeah, hi. I think Rita, just thank you so much for these. And so excited that Trisha is now the new commissioner. So it's lovely. I think what Rita just mentioned, I do remember that those planters, I think, weren't there since October. Because when the project was done in Rupert Park in last October, those two planters were missing. So I think it's ever since. So yeah, so I'm so glad that Rita has asked that question where they are, because they were so beautiful when you enter and the flowers were there. It looked really pretty.
Thank you, Sahar. Mubin, do you have a question or you're just agreeing?
I do have a question. Thank you again, Rita, for bringing it up. I actually wanted to just reconfirm that to Sheena that when we did the October event last year, the planters were there. When I went a week later, they were missing. So I did alert Ashley Kennecke about it to inquire, and nobody seemed to know what happened. So I just wanted to mention that it's been missing since last October, but they were there for our event itself. I do have images, Sheena, so if it'll help, I'm happy to send you some images of it, because we always use the planters to stake our welcome signs in. And we also put some pretty expensive shrubbery and plants in those planters because they provided such a pop of color as soon as you entered. So they have been missing since a couple of days after our October event last year.
The only thing I can say that could have happened to that is that when they did the soil testing way back, the first soil testing, they probably had to move them out the way in order to get there. So it's a little strange. I'll look into it to see. I don't want to put anything back there if we're going to start this Rubric Park project soon. So if it's not going to be soon, then I'll see if I can get them replaced back at the entrance. But I'm looking forward for this project to start, and once we get the approval, and once the bidding gets started, and I'm just looking for this project to move forward in a positive way. So I would try to get a time frame, and if the time frame is longer than I anticipate, then I'll try to get them replaced to see if there's any availability around the borough that may have some planters.
Thanks, Sheena. We appreciate that. If there are no further questions, then why don't we move on to the Friends of the East River Esplanade Executive Director, Jean Kim, to give us an update on what's going on what they have planned for the Esplanade.
Hi, Felice. Thank you for having me. I'm also excited about Tricia. She's not just a friend to all of us. She's been a huge supporter of the Esplanade. And we have the new Midtown Greenway that we're all excited about. That's, if you haven't checked it out yet, it's over at 60th Street. It goes to 53rd. We have, we're the Friends group that covers the Upper East Side and East Harlem, and we advocate and help provide programming in those neighborhoods. And we have a slate of events that we're planning for the spring that we're very excited about. The first one is Sunday, April 21st. We have our birding tour with New York City Audubon at the new Midtown Greenway. And this is a great fun activity. I mean, I didn't know anything about birds, and I went on 3 of these, and it's just a lot of fun to learn something new, but also check out the new Greenway. And then we have 3 concerts that we plan for the spring and the fall. The first one we have planned for Saturday, April 27th, 1 to 4 at Andrew Haswell Green Park. And we're kicking off with Gene Casey and the Lone Sharks Band, free a la mode ice cream, and craft activities and fitness for everyone. We've been working closely with Mike McLean because it's cutting it kind of close with the lighting installation, which is supposed to be completed April 25th. So we're putting that on our social media to let people know that it's under, the lights are being installed. So we're following that closely. And then we have another event. This is up on 100th Street, but we do a public art project. That's a picture right there. We have the crochet mural up there that says "We Care for Harlem," and we're now going to add 13 jumbo-sized flowers, including a couple lotus flowers as a nod for Asian Heritage Month. And this will kick off on Saturday, May 4th at 12 noon with our partners Memorial Sloan Kettering and also East Harlem Tutorial Program. So so please follow our Instagram at Esplanade Friend, for more details on that. And then Saturday, May 18th, we have our outdoor yoga class. That's going to be at 3 p.m. And this will be our second year holding them, but it's a lot of fun. And I think about 65 to maybe 85 people fit on the green grass. So this year we're going to try to get a sound system instead of the silent headphones and see how that works. But it's a lot of fun, and we partner with Iron Strength Yoga from Hospital for Special Surgery. So we have a top-notch yoga instructor for this. And then last but not least, we have 2 more events. The live music concert on Saturday, June 1st. This group, we're very excited to have them because they were rained out last year when we tried to bring them, and now we've been able to reschedule them, and they become huge, and really hard to book, but we're so excited that they're going to be here on Saturday, June 1st, Lulata Club. They're a 10-person all-female salsa band. They played at the High Line. They played all over the city, and they will be at Andrew Haswell Green Park at 60th Street and East River Waterfront. Yeah, and then we have another birding event, but this will be up in East Harlem on Sunday, May 19th at 96th Street and East River Esplanade. The other just quick thing I wanted to bring up is we've been discussing with Parks and the NYPD, the 19th precinct, about the security cameras. And as far as I know, they are moving forward at 59th Street on the Esplanade because there's no security cameras there right now. And we've been working with them, over the years. And I think there's finally the go-ahead and selection of the camera. And what we've heard is that we should expect to see like maybe 2 of them as early as the summer. And then depending on funding, maybe 10 or a dozen more after that. So that's really essential in terms of all our programming. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jean. Really, really appreciate that. I'm glad to hear that the security cameras are finally moving forward. I know that's been a big issue. We'll post we'll include a link to your list of events in our minutes, and I believe Kevin will be able to put it up on the community board website, just so everybody can see that and refer back to that information. And Jean as well, it's up on the Friends website.
Yes, it's on our website, esplanadefriends.org.
Great. Thank you. Any questions for Jean? Okay, thanks, Jean. It sounds like a really exciting lineup of programs. Now let's turn it over to Mubin for an update on what the Muslim Volunteers for New York is working on and what's going on at Rupert Park.
Thank you. Thank you, Felice. I really appreciate that. First, Trisha, heartiest congratulations on this position. So well deserved. And it feels like full circle because our association with you has been almost as long as your association with Community Board 8, and we learned so much under your and Barry's leadership, and we're so grateful for the time that both of you gave us. And thanks to Felice and Judy, that continues, that legacy continues, and we thank you, Felice, for hosting us and allowing us to give a little presentation on our work at Rupert Park. Thank you also, Sheena, for bringing some good news on the Rupert Park front. It's nice to see that we are inching forward. I know there's a lot of layers to get through before ground breaks, but I'm glad to know that things are moving forward. So, Felice, you've kindly allowed us to come and speak about Rupert Park before all of our events. We thought, since we're almost concluding our 9th year as an organization and embarking into our 10th year, that we'd give you a little bit of rundown on who we are, what we've done with Rupert Park over the years. I know many of you, like Rita, have been beyond supportive and know a lot about what we've done, but we thought it's time to give a little sort of a flashback and throwback on some of the work we've done there. So Kevin, if you can put the presentation up. And Felice, the one more thing is we wanted to conclude with a little video that Community Board 8 had made on us on our 5th anniversary. If that's fine with you, we would like to conclude with that video clip.
Sure, absolutely.
Well, many of you know me, but just again, by way of introduction, my name is Mubin Siddiqui, and I'm one of the founding members of this incredible organization called Muslim Volunteers for New York that I run with a team of amazing people, all of whom are volunteers like myself. Many of them are on the call today. I can see Sahar and Nadia, maybe Sarah's on the call as well. And on behalf of all of them, I thank Community Board 8 for allowing us to do this presentation. Next slide, please. I thought we would just quickly rehash a little of our history with Rupert Park, the kind of events we do there, some of the benefits we've reaped as a result of our work with them, and then, of course, the global pandemic that impacted all of our lives in one way or the other, but how it impacted Rupert Park and the aftermath. Last but not least, I want to talk about our upcoming event in a few weeks. Next slide, please. Muslim Volunteers for New York is a registered 501c3 nonprofit. Most of you know us as stewards of Rupert Park, but we do have 4 platforms. We work in the area of education, hunger and poverty alleviation, health, wellness, and community. And last but not least, environmental stewardship and park beautification, which is our connection with CB8 in particular. But many of the other projects we do along the other platforms benefit your district as well. Next slide, please. Our time with Rupert Park literally started within weeks of us coming into existence in 2015. It was a casual conversation between a bunch of professional women that resulted in the creation of MV for New York. And within weeks of starting, Sahar, my colleague, got in touch with Nancy Plager. And we said, we were just eager to volunteer and try to make a difference. And this was one of our very first events. And so we went out to volunteer with Nancy Plager, who the former chair of the chamber, president of the Chamber of Commerce, who used to single-handedly try to make a difference in Rupert Park. And so we were very honored to be by her side. And she told us to bring a handful of volunteers. And that's a picture of our children who were so young then, obviously scampering around Rupert Park, trying to do whatever they needed to do. Next slide, please. In 2017, our lives altered. Our relationship with Rupert Park altered because New York City Parks Commission, Commissioner Castro at the time, appointed us as the partnering steward of Rupert Park. We are required to do 2 annual, semi-annual park stewardship, beautification, and cleanup events where we engage in planting, cleaning, mulching, painting, etc. We've also elected to do 1 or more community engagement events in the summer to engage this amazing neighborhood and the community that surrounds Rupert Park to come and really engage with their park. Thank you, Rita, over the years for always calling us and notifying us of things that happen in the neighborhood and keeping us informed of what's going on and how we can respond and improve things there. We could not do this without the extraordinary discretionary funding that we get from the council member's office. Ben Callos was a huge supporter. We're very grateful to him. And now council member Julie Menon has continued that. We could not put up the kind of events we put up without the support of this funding. We've also received one-off private funding from City Parks Foundation historically that also we've 100% employed into the park itself. None of these incredible community service events ever can be successful without in isolation. It's always a community that does it. We obviously are here because of New York City Parks and Partnerships for Parks, thanks to the efforts of Sheena and Ashley Kenneke, who was our Partnerships for Park person for a long time, the parks manager and all the staff at Parks and PFP. We could not do what we do without their support. But then the support of Community Board 8, which we've had from the very outset. They helped us navigate waters and green spaces, etc. so much. We learned so much through your work in the neighborhood. Elected officials have constantly given us their support. We went cold calling to them, not knowing any of them, and they just all were on the bandwagon. And then, of course, social media sites like Doing Good Together, etc. And last but not least, in fact, the most important are volunteers that come from far and wide to make things happen in this park. Next slide, please. I wanted to share a lot of images of our stewardship events over the years because they're a reflection of your neighborhood and our city. This was our inaugural event in 2017. On the bottom right-hand corner, as you look at the screen, is the team, our MV for New York team at the time, which has expanded since then to include people like Nadia, Sarah, that are on the call today. And on the top left-hand corner is Ben Callos and a whole host of community board members, elected officials, and volunteers that came from New Jersey, from the tri-state area, Connecticut, Westchester, Long Island, everywhere, so committed to making a difference to green spaces. Over the years, we've done roughly, I think, about 12 to 13 events and have brought over 1,250 volunteers to these events, and planted over, typically between 15 to 3,000 plants in that short window of time we're there, but typically we're planting about 2,500 plants every time. Next slide, please. This wanted to express that we do a wide variety of activities when we're there at the park. Of course, planting, mulching, painting, cleaning, sprucing, raking is crucial. We do that, but education is an integral part of everything that we do. And we wanted to make sure that we are engaging and educating people about environmental sustainability. New York City Parks is very kind enough to provide urban park ranges that educate our children about safeguarding the flora and fauna, and not only in our park, but around the state of New York. We also engage in eco-friendly arts and crafts to show people that you can be creative and yet be green and sustainable. So at the bottom right-hand corner, you can see that there's a little Zen garden. People can come make our eco-friendly arts and craft, and it's a keepsake for them and they can take it with them. And of course, we have a whole host of refreshment stands, etc., that are all complimentary. Next slide, please. I did want to mention, I'm sorry, in the previous slide that we did, one of the things that New York City Parks very kindly did permit us, we had to persuade them. They did allow us to paint the very dreary gray concrete red, bright red, and we think that it has really altered the face of Rupert Park when we enter it from all sides. So thank you for that, New York City Parks. And also thanks to all these volunteers, and we're there just for 3 hours in which they have to plant thousands of plants. Sorry about that. And bag, anywhere from 20 to 30 bags of raked leaves and garbage. And we also have live music at these events, which is a big, keeps the volunteers going. But this is just another reflection of the diversity of our volunteers, and they come from far and wide, and they roll up their sleeves and get down to work. So Earth Day was my absolute favorite one. We did this, I believe, Sahar, correct me if I'm wrong, either 2018 or 2019. This was the largest turnout of volunteers we ever had. I believe we had 180 plus volunteers for this event, and we planted the greatest number of plants here, and we had the largest turnout of elected officials and community board members and volunteers for this event. Next slide, please. So this is a expanded image of the previous slide. This event was very special because one of the things that MV4 New York really feels very strongly about is not only bringing people from the district, but bringing people from all over to invest in improving our green spaces. And we have 3 council members from 3 different districts. So we have Ben Kalos from your district. We had Keith Powers and Helen Rosenthal, who has a hand like this on her face laughing, from the west side. Keith Powers from my district, I'm from Midtown. And then we had, obviously Carolyn Maloney and Gail Brewer, who was the borough president at the time, and many others, assembly members, and a wide host of CB8 members there. And our volunteers, as I said, they come from far and wide from New Jersey. In fact, the volunteer sitting right in front comes quite far from New Jersey, and they come from all places and have stayed true to this park, for which we are very grateful because it's improving your lives and the lives of the neighbors there. And they're very invested in it, and they do want to see an improvement. And we are so grateful for the advocacy that, your organization has provided, your board members have provided. We have obviously advocated far and wide for Rupert Park, along with New York City Parks and PFP and others, that today Ben Kalos had announced that this park will have close to $9 million to break ground and revamp the park. But I remember Keith Powers, who's from another district, also gave money. He has a little bit of piece in that. The borough president and the assembly member at the time, they all also provided money in that $9 million. Next slide, please. Education, as I said, is a crucial part of our efforts with Rupert Park. This is one of my very favorite quotations that we put up in the park. We put up signage in the park on the day of our event that as people are working, they will hopefully reflect, look at these signs, reflect on them, and carry it in their hearts. So I'll read this out loud. It's nature surrounds us from parks to backyards to streets and alleyways. Next time you go for a walk, tread gently and remember that we're both inhabitants and stewards of nature in our neighborhoods. So this is one of my favorites, and I hope that our volunteers carry this message with them. Next slide, please. So that was about our stewardship events. We have also done a wide variety of community engagement events. Commissioner Castro, when we started, was very eager that in addition to just doing stewardship, we must try to bring communities together to this park, because parks are such a fantastic meeting ground for people and build lasting relationships. So we have done a wide variety of musical events and family-friendly, big fun and game events at the park. This image is of two of our last musical events that we did. We're so grateful to, again, Community Board 8 for showing up in large number. We had last two events, we've unexpectedly had to switch our event at the very last minute on a rain date. And this event was supposed to happen in the evening, and we switched it to the morning within just a few hours of notice. And I'm so grateful that Barry and Judy and Alida all showed up with the change, and all of our supporters showed up to enjoy the music by this wonderful musician, as did many of the elected officials. So again, always grateful for all the support. I see Rita's got her hand up. Should I take a question now or at the end of the presentation?
Rita? Oh, she said keep going.
Sorry, I think you missed a slide. Can you go back up? Yes. Okay, then this one. So we've also done big fun and games at the park over the years, and working at parks does not come without peril. I specifically chose this slide because on the top in the middle is, can you go back to the previous slide, please? Right there. That's Sahar sitting there doing a book reading. We were expecting the park's fun and games van to come, and it was one of those contingencies where it did not show up. We were in a panic. We'd done a lot of outreach. A lot of our supporters had shown up with children, and you have to be creative when you're working with parks and innovative. And we went into panic mode, but we improvised and we did book readings. We ran to Seatown, purchased chalk, purchased bubbles, did whatever we needed to do to keep the park event going. So it is not without adventure. So next slide, please. One of the things we do during the summer months when things get quiet for a lot of people, but not for us, is that we don't want people to forget about parks. We are engaged in other events during that time, but we don't want people to lose sight of the importance of engaging with parks. So we started this virtual series in 2021 where we tell our supporters, send in images of your backyard, your favorite green space, and we will showcase them on our social media. Much to our surprise, not only do we get submissions from all over the country, I've put a few images here that we got from overseas. So the top middle image is of Hyde Park in London. The bottom image, as is obvious, is from South Africa, from a safari. And the right image with that beautiful bougainvillea cascading over the house is from California. And we do this every summer. And please feel free to send your submissions also CB8 members, and we would love to showcase them. Next slide, please. We have done some special events. We're grateful to New York City Parks and Partnerships for Parks for allowing us to do this. This was a very special event and very close to all of Team MB for New York's heart, because many of us are from Pakistan. And as many of you may recall, 2 years ago, Pakistan had a catastrophic flood where over a third of the country and more was flooded, which is, to give you a sense, the size of Texas or a little bit more. And to this day, a very large chunk of it is still flooded. And according to the UN, it'll take over 40 years for it to recover. So why did we, who are a domestic agency, do this? This event was done because we just wanted to, as stewards, as stewards of environmental sustainability and et cetera, we wanted to show, as proponents, not stewards, we wanted to show that what we do, even in our neck of the woods, makes a difference in other parts of the world. And one of the reasons that there are 8 countries that are highly vulnerable to catastrophes, natural disasters, is because of the environmental, let's say, negligence that we are exercising in many of the developed nations in the world. We are some of the largest producers of gas emissions, and they are causing havoc around the world. So we were thankful to have this amazing space of Rupert Park, where we are always trying to talk about environmental sustainability, to talk about how what little that you do at this park does make a difference. So please keep on keeping on. Next slide, please. Thanks to all of your support. We have been very grateful for some of the accolades and awards that we have received over the years. The mayor's office and the governor's office have given us proclamation year after year for our work at Rupert Park. Thank you to New York City Parks Commission. We received the Golden Travel Award in 2018, and it was a huge honor to be introduced by Ben Callos and Gail Brewer. It was a surprise and a moment of light banter. We also received that same year an award from the Audi Award, or Art Town Thank You Award, for our work with Rupert Park and other philanthropic activities. And we that same year also received an award from, I forget the name of the church, it's on the tip of my tongue, it'll come to me, that also gave an inaugural award for service to the community. So we're very thankful for what we've achieved as a result of our work with Rupert Park. Next slide, please. And then just as things were coasting and we thought we were going to keep growing, the global pandemic hit. And obviously we were all in lockdown. We all have, I'm sure, a very stark memory of where we were when that happened. But that put us in a quandary as to what to do with Rupert Park. We did not want people were very aware of hunger and all those other issues, but parks seemed to be on the back burner. And so we needed to make sure that we kept parks on the forefront. And we did something we had never imagined we would be doing, but we did a complete virtual event, a Rupert Park virtual event. Short of planting, we did everything else that we do at the park. So we did a virtual eco-friendly art activity, and that's our board member on the top right hand, Hina Arshad, who is always in charge of eco-friendly arts and crafts, told kids how to use plastic bags, which are clogging up our waterways, etc., and repurpose them into flowers. At the bottom right-hand corner, we have a musician who's volunteered over the years. Paul is his name. He's a pretty well-known pianist in New York City, had been volunteering with us for years, and we just did not know how famous he was till this happened. And he very kindly played an original piece, because we do have always music at all of our park events, typically live, but sometimes recorded. And then we had the young girl on the top, in that image on the top right corner, who talked about what she had done in her town to improve environmental sustainability by eliminating plastic bags entirely. And we were hoping that that would inspire our viewers and our supporters in doing something similar here in New York City. Next slide, please. When the trauma of the pandemic started to hopefully withdraw, we had to figure out how do we get back to parks. We realized how crucial, and I think our supporters truly understood the importance of the work we do with parks in comparison to some of the other work we do with food pantries and shelters, etc., that this is just as important. Parks truly nourish us body and soul, and I think they really appreciated that post-pandemic. And so this was the very first event New York City Parks Commission allowed us to do. We had only 25 volunteers, and as you can see, everybody's masked and gloved and maintaining social distancing. But Trisha was right there with us. Barry was there, but Trisha rolled up her hands and was working. Carolyn Maloney came out to show us her support. We have members of Community Board 8, all masked, but there to show us our support that we have to keep this going, and these parks are really important for us to maintain for our own mental and physical well-being. So next slide, please. I just have a few slides to talk about. Again, I want to express our tremendous gratitude for the support that the community board has provided us. Barry and Tricia, with their leadership in the first years that we were there, they really helped us navigate. And also their support meant a lot. It kept us, inspired us to keep on doing more and more. And now Judy and Felice and Rita and Barbara, you just continue with that support, and we are very, very grateful for it. Next slide, please. Elected officials as well, we could not do it without them, because when we advocate, they're the ones who provide the money, and they are the ones who hopefully make legislative change that makes a difference to our lives. I again use that image because we have we have Ben Callos, the council member in the district at the time, Helen Rosenthal from the west side, Keith Powers from Midtown. We have Assembly member to Carol Maloney's right. We have Barry, and we have Dr. Sarah from the mayor's office, with members from the governor's office, and obviously our team members. So very grateful for this support. This advocacy has allowed us to bring a lot of attention to Rupert Park. And I would like to mention that Gail Brewer is in the photograph on the right. I wanted to put her photograph because I met her 3 days after we formed MV for New York, and she had never met me, never heard of us, and our event was maybe a week later at Rupert Park, our very first event. I invited her, she showed up, and she has never missed an event ever since. So grateful to her for that. Next slide, please. Just more, we really appreciate that Julie Menon has continued the financial support that Ben had started. We could not do it without the discretionary funding that we get from her. It's an image of the governor's office giving MV for New York a proclamation for their work over the years at Rupert Park. Next slide, please. Last but not least, the reason I'm here, which is to talk about our upcoming event. It is on May 18th, a Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Keeping our fingers crossed that we do not have any rain. It's blue skies, sunny weather, because the last two events we've had to switch to the rain date. But God forbid should that happen, we are ready. Our rain date is the next day, Sunday, May 19th, same time. Please keep those dates marked on your calendar. Please invite your friends, your family, your neighbors to this. The activities we will be doing is we'll be doing the spring planting, the mulching. We've been mulching the Northeast field now primarily for the dog run. I know that members of the dog collective we've worked wonderfully in concert with them. They've been wonderful and helpful. And for the duration of the event, they've been kind enough to put signage up from approval from New York City Parks Commission that the dogs can stay out till we finish our work. We'll be cleaning, we'll be raking, we'll be painting. But on the fun, on the non-planting side, we will have eco-friendly arts and crafts. Hina's always very creative. So look forward for that. There will be complimentary refreshments and free giveaways. We do require registration in advance. That is ideal because you can seamlessly walk in, but we do painstakingly do registration on the day of as well for people that walk in. Next slide, please. I think that's it. So I just want to thank you for your time. Thank you for your support all these years. And if there are any questions, please, Sahar, myself, Nadia, and the others will answer.
Thank you, Mubin, for all that you have done for the community, all you've done for the park. It's really impressive. Thank you for providing us with the history and the background and all the information. It's really quite helpful and informative. And again, really impressive all the work that you've done. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
So let me turn it over to Rita, who has a question, and then Sahar.
Hi, Mubin, for your entire group, thank you, thank you, thank you. You helped make a park that is sad looking into one that is really beautiful in certain spots. We only do spots, but I have a question for you. Thank you. When the park is being constructed during that time, I hope that you and your group will use James Cagney Place, which abuts the park on the north side, and for any of your activities so that we don't lose any momentum for what you do. it would be fabulous. And the last thing is that on your May 18th, would it be possible to do some planting at the 91st Street entrance? There is a pit that has earth in it, and it would help the elderly people who sit on 91st Street to be able to see the beautiful things that you plant. So thank you. Thank you for what you do, and let me know anything that I could do to help you.
Rita, thank you so much for your kind words. You have been so consistently supportive that whenever we would get a little disheartened over the years because our planting would be trampled on by kids or by unruly pets, your words and the support of this organization have always kept us going. So to answer your first question, we are working closely with New York City Parks to see because you're not going to lose us. We will be working. Rupert Park will always be our baby. It's very close to our heart. But we are we are in negotiation with them in terms of where we can work in the neighborhood so that we can continue our work till such time as Rupert Park is ready to receive us again. So as soon as we have clarity on that, we will definitely get back to you on that. And I want to just clarify that the location that you're telling me on the 91st Street side, now the northeast field sits on 91st Street side. We used to plant all along the fence line there. Are you talking outside of the park?
It's in the park, but it's right in the entrance as you come in. There's a pit that it would, the pit where the main entrance is on 2nd Avenue. This is the same pit, only it's shorter.
Are you talking about the little rotunda on that side, on 91st Street side? We will definitely plant there, Rita. We always do plant there. Last time we actually planted a lot of plants there. So if they're not there, it's a little bit heartbreaking because we do spend a lot of time painting and planting that, but we will make sure that we target that area again.
The plants they make spring, make us look forward to spring. It is so wonderful to see the daffodils and everything that you plant. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sahar now, who may have just had to step away.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just had to step away for a second. Just wanted to mention one more thing. I think Mubin mentioned most of it, but just wanted to add that the registration link and all of those details, they will be shared with with our board, and it would be in the circular, like usually Will and Kevin, they're so amazing, and thank you Felice and Judy, that they always add it. So you will have the registration open to the neighbors, and people can register beforehand because it would just make it easier for planning. But then of course people can come on the day off and register as well. So just wanted to add that bit.
Felice, I apologize, but I clean forgot. I did send Kevin a link. It's just a few, I don't know if you have the time, it's just a few minutes, but you will see why. I'll bring you all full circle, but it's CB8's video on MV for New York. So if you could just play that. I want to express my gratitude for that video before you play it anyways, but we're very, very thankful for your support all these years. And I don't know if Trisha's on the call anymore. I would have loved for her to see it.
I think she had to drop off, but maybe we could send it to her.
That'll be great.
All right, give me 1 second. Let me just pull it up.
Hi, my name is Trisha Shimamura, and on behalf of Manhattan Community Board 8 and the Parks and Waterfront Committee, which I proudly co-chair with Barry Schneider, we'd like to congratulate Muslim Volunteers for New York on their momentous 5-year anniversary. MV for NY has truly done incredible things for New Yorkers throughout the city, but we are particularly grateful for what they've done to preserve and enhance Rupert Park. Through their cleanup days, ongoing programming, and continued advocacy, MB for NY has truly turned River Park into a place that you want to be. They've given it new life and made it a destination for those who want to enjoy the flowers and the plantings, for those who want to sit and read a book or meet a friend and enjoy music in the center of the park. It's really been transformative, and we thank MB for NY for all that they continue to do for this wonderful space. Beyond River Park, MB for NY continues to help many vulnerable New Yorkers through their various programming initiatives, including clothing drives and food drives and other philanthropic efforts. They're always willing to lend a helping hand to those who need it, and we are incredibly grateful to be one of just many recipients. So again, on behalf of Manhattan Community Board 8, I'd like to thank MB for NY for everything that they're doing for not just us, but for generations to come, for our open spaces, and so much more. Thank you again. Congratulations. We look forward to working with you for many years to come.
Mubin, thank you for sharing that. It was great that Trisha did that, and along with baby Teddy. So that was terrific.
Thank you so much for all the time you've given us, Felice. We appreciate it.
Are there any final questions or comments? Any new business or old business? Okay, seeing none, do we have a motion to Rita? Okay, and do we have one question from Danica first? Hi, I think you're unmuted. Hello?
Danica, you are unmuted right now. If there's something you need to say, feel free to chat me it. Maybe I can say it out loud. Okay, I'm not seeing anything, Felice.
Okay, well, having a motion to adjourn submitted and approved, I guess we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. We are, just a reminder, we're meeting May 9th. The next meeting, we'll go over St. Catherine's Park. Thanks, everyone.